Hello everyone, and welcome back to an Introduction to Motion Writing, part of the Students Representative Council training course on Moodle Cloud. In this video, we'll be discussing Topic 3, Components of a Motion. A main motion consists of two types of information: the preamble or why of a motion, these are written in whereas clauses, and resolving clauses or the what of a motion, written as resolved clauses. Robert's Rules of Order indicates that resolving clauses should begin with the word resolved, unless otherwise stated. At the MSVUSU, we use be it resolved for the first resolving clause, and be it further resolved for each additional resolving clause. Your whereas clauses provide context to your motion, and these are non-binding. Being non-binding means that they have no legal authority and cannot require anything of the MSVUSU. This also means that when we debate motions, the whereas clauses are not usually amendable or debatable, except when their decision to adopt a motion is impacted by the accuracy of these clauses. When writing these clauses, provide information on why the motion is necessary. Remember that the student body and other council members are not as familiar with the issue as you are, and consider this when deciding what information to provide in the preamble. For a very complex preamble, you may choose to add a covering memo to your motion. Avoid using jargon or acronyms whenever possible. These are difficult to understand and can create an appearance of elitism or creating an in-group, using language and jargon that's only known to those who are working within the organization. That said, some language is specific and you will need to use it. When using it, consider defining the word in the preamble or writing a covering memo that defines the language used when jargon is unavoidable. When using an acronym, spell out the phrase completely the first time you use it within the preamble, placing the acronym in brackets, and then use the acronym thereafter. These preamble clauses should be easily understood by the student body. If you've provided enough information and done it in a way that minimizes the jargon and undefined acronyms, most of the student body should be able to understand why you brought the motion. This is important, considering that we work for them. Now let's discuss resolving clauses. Be it resolved clauses use specific language to direct an action, and these are binding. Being binding means that the organization can be held legally to account for not completing any of the directions in the motion. This also means that be it resolved clauses are debatable and amendable, and the language used within them is specific and important. The MSVUSU numbers subparagraphs of a resolving clause. These subparagraphs are typically only used for lists, as you will see in the next sections. When you're writing resolving clauses, consider that these clauses must be clear and complete. You need to write them with positive, affirmative language, and try to use active voice whenever possible. We'll discuss more about how to write these clauses in the next video. Now that we've discussed the preamble and resolving clauses for a motion, our two main components of a motion, here's a sample motion for your review. Preamble. Whereas it is essential that the MSVUSU members be able to write effective motions for the annual general meeting, and whereas a workshop may be an effective way to introduce motion writing to MSVUSU members, therefore, resolving clauses. Be it resolved that the MSVUSU hold a motion writing workshop, and be it further resolved that this workshop covers motions to direct an action, form a committee, create a campaign, create or change an operation, change a policy, bylaw, or the Constitution at a minimum. And be it further resolved that this workshop be held within the 10 days preceding the deadline for submitting motions to the annual general meeting.